Hey everyone, I'm David Aragona, and this is the April 28th edition of Horses to Watch. On the show this week, I'm going to take a look back at 3 replays from last week. We've got 1 from Oaklawn Park and 2 from Gulfstream. We're going to begin at Gulfstream on their Thursday card, taking a look at the 7th race. It was a starter allowance race, going a mile on the turf, and I want to focus on the favorite of this race, the number 11, Dr. Edgar. He loses this race, but I think he ran the best race of anybody. Let's check it out from the start, and you're going to see there's a lot of pace developing as they cross by the wire the first time. And Dr. Edgar, there he is, the number 11 horse in those orange silks. And he's breaking from an outside post position, and his rider, Dylan Davis, really has to hustle him to get into the race early. And you see it's a situation where there are just a lot of riders to the inside that have the same idea, and they all go pretty fast into that first turn. Now, they try to back down the pace a little bit as they head into the backstretch. You see the number 6 horse, Gemontier. He's a horse that usually is up on the pace, and his rider was trying to get him to settle down, though, pretty unsuccessfully as he wants to go in between horses. And as they head onto the backstretch, while that first quarter of 22 and 4 seems fast, they're going to speed it up even more as they head down the backstretch of this race and actually go the half mile in 45 and 1/5 seconds. And if you look up the Timeform US pace figures of this race, both the second quarter and the 3/4 time are both color-coded red, and the PPs indicating that this was a fast-paced situation. And if you look at the other speed horses in this race, the number 1, the number 4, and the number 6, those horses that were 4 across the track with Dr. Edgar heading into the first turn, they're all going to finish at the back of the pack of this race. They finished 6th, 8th, and 9th, respectively. And I think that really elevates the performance of Dr. Edgar, who, as you see coming to the top of the stretch here, Dylan Davis is starting to ask him for his best. Horses are ranging up outside, runners with a lot more momentum than he has. And I think it's a real credit to this horse's gameness that he's able to battle back on the inside. He does lose this race to a long shot, the number 2, who just got a perfect trip from off the pace in this race. But I think Dr. Edgar still deserves a lot of credit for holding off Morocco, who took that shot at him at the top of the stretch, as well as the other closers in the late stages of this race. Dr. Edgar, he's just kind of an unfortunate horse because this is a starter allowance race, supposed to be a pretty easy spot for him, but it came up a tougher race than you would have expected for the level. It's another race that featured a lot of pace, and he's encountered similar situations in both of his other starts of 2020. He was coming out of a 5th place finish in the Appleton last time, another race that featured a very fast pace. He actually ran very well within the context of that race. He's just a horse that's going to be really dangerous when he ultimately gets into a race that doesn't feature as many other speed horses. Seems like there are a lot of those that we see in this country, but Dr. Edgar just hasn't been in one yet so far in 2020, so we'll see if that situation changes next time, but he definitely has run well in all of his races so far this year. Let's move on to another race at Gulfstream Park. This one took place on their Saturday card. It's the 5th race of the day, a 3-year-old maiden special weight race going 7 furlongs on the dirt. And I want to focus on a first-time starter in this race. It's the number 1, Dreams of Tomorrow. And let's check this race out from the start. Dreams of Tomorrow, as I said, is breaking from the inside. You'll see the head-on first, and he breaks a little bit to the inside, but you'll see as we pick up the pan shot just after this that he's actually just coming into the screen here because he really did break about a length to 2 lengths slowly in this race. And his rider, Edgar, rather than let him settle towards the back of the pack, he is going to really get after this horse to go up and contest the pace in the early going. And he is continuing to ask this horse all the way through the first quarter mile to get up in there inside of this number 2 horse who's running in 2nd place right now. And actually, this runner is going to try to go all the way up the challenge for the lead here, but he ends up getting in a tight spot in behind this leader chasing Anna, and he's going to have to tap on the brakes here. Even now, he's trying to get into that spot inside of that horse, but it's a kind of tight quarter, so he can't get up in there. He's going to continue around the far turn, racing in this spot and behind the leaders in this pocket. And it's just a tough situation for a first-time starter to be in because he's had to hustle in the early going. Now he's racing in tight quarters. He's having to show a lot of patience and poise to race in this spot. As they come to the top of the stretch, most first-time starters, after getting that kind of trip down the backstretch and into the far turn, they would just call it a day and back up. But this horse shows a lot of tenacity. Once he gets into the clear here, he's still trying to battle on. He's trying to get to the outside of this leader here, but he gets pushed in by the eventual winner, Basquiat. He races in behind that horse for just a split second, but he alters course again, gets on track, and actually gets up for 3rd here, finally getting by that early leader in the late stages of this race. Now, look, this wasn't the fastest maiden special weight race race that we've ever seen, but I just thought the Dreams of Tomorrow showed a lot of potential in this race. Really just a performance that a horse is likely to move forward off of because he was going out for Shug McGahee. Shug is not the kind of trainer that has his first-time starters cranked up to win first time out. I didn't love the ride that Edgar Zayas gave him, but the positive thing that you could say about it is that he did get an experience that he's likely to benefit from because he encountered a lot of different types of trip occurrences that can happen in a first race, and I think he's going to do a lot better in the future for having gotten that experience first. And now he's also a horse that could do better on the turf in the future because if you look up his pedigree, he's a son of Speightstown out of the Medaglia d'Oro Dam sabbatical, who is a daughter of Daydreaming, who is a real good turf producer for the Phipps family. So I think we could see this horse on the turf in the future, but wherever he shows up, I think we're likely to see a better performance out of Dreams of Tomorrow next time out. The final race we'll take a look at on the show this week is the stakes race from Saturday at Oaklawn Park, 6 furlong race for the older fillies. And I want to focus on the favorite of this race, who was beaten, the number 1 Bellafina. This is a trip that a lot of people saw, but I just want to talk through it in some more detail. Bellafina was the favorite in this race, breaking from the rail. And let's check it out from the start. And you're going to see what happens and why she loses this race as they come out of the gate. She just breaks about a half length slowly. Not a disaster, but when you're breaking from the inside in a race with a lot of speed and the horses that are directly outside of you don't go for the front, it's just one of these situations where she gets shuffled all the way to the back of the pack, and that's not where her rider, Joe Talma, wanted to be in the early going. And he has to make a split-second decision here to rate her at the back of the pack and try to make one run from last, or to go up outside of horses and try to regain the position that was lost. And he takes the second option, and I don't think that was the right decision to make because the first quarter goes up in 21-4, and he actually makes a move up into to third place all the way from last into the fastest quarter of the race, and that's a tough thing to do. They actually slow down the pace a little bit coming around the far turn, but he's already made that aggressive move at this point in time, so it's really to no benefit to Bellafina at this point. And this is the point in time when the eventual winner can break away from her, but she's already expended so much energy to get up into that position that she just has nothing left for the stretch drive. I think if we had seen a situation where Joe Talamo had taken the more patient approach, as Joel Rosario did when Flagstaff broke slowly and the Count Fleet 1 week prior, a very similar situation, a horse breaking slowly from the inside, maybe we would have seen Bellafina come to the late run and get a minor piece of this race. I don't think Bellafina was ever going to beat the winner, Mia Mischief, because Mia Mischief just got back to her better races in this spot, and she's a pretty good horse when she's in form. But I do think Bellafina would have been a closer, maybe second in this race if he had taken a more patient approach down the backstretch. Now, that was still a disappointing effort, even if she had finished second to Mia Mischief, because Bellafina had run so fast in her prior victory in the La Brea. And a lot of people will say, oh, Bellafina is just a horse that never runs well outside of California. I don't quite buy that because a lot of her races outside of California, it's just been circumstance that has prevented her from doing her best running. She was off the layoff in the test. She didn't get the right distance in the Kentucky Oaks when she underperformed that day. I still think we'll see a better performance out of Bellafina in a race outside of California this year, but just probably not going 6 furlongs, and especially not when she's breaking slowly from the inside. So I'm not going to write Bellafina off based on this one disappointing effort. Those are all the performances we're going to discuss and recap on the show this week. Hopefully we can make a score with one of these horses when they run back in the future, because I think all of these horses were cost their shot to do their best running in these races we just looked at, and will do better in subsequent starts in the near future. So thanks for watching this week. I'll be back again next week to recap 3 more horses to watch.